Okay, good morning everybody. Mike Niemiec here with some early morning grain and oilseed comments on this Thursday, December 13th. Well, we finally got some news from the marketplace as far as the trade talks between the U.S. and the Chinese. It's been ongoing as far as the idea is that the Chinese and the U.S. had some agreement as far as buying at least some U.S. beans. Nothing really official, however, but the rumor mill started going yesterday with cash trade sources on the news wires claiming, started out that the deal was done between the U.S. and the Chinese buying in the neighborhood of around 500,000 tons of U.S. beans. That crept on up to around 1.5 million tons as far as the wires at the end of the day said. Rumors amongst the trade is that maybe it was upwards to 2.4 million tons and they're looking for more, most of it coming off of the PNW, some of it out of the Gulf. And remember that prior to all this, the trade is talking about anywhere from 5 to 8 million tons of beans that could potentially be taken. So I guess the take on this here is that, number one, it seems like it was the government that was buying the beans, not the consumer in China. So that means that the tariffs are still on, and that was one of the sticking points as far as trying to get the free trade and honest trade going forward in here. So that wasn't a little bit of a sticking point. Number two is what's the time frame for these beans? Is it old crop, new crop? And perhaps number three, when we finally had some of this news coming to some fruition, that the marketplace was kind of muted. We only closed up around 5 cents on the day, and then here in the overnight session we're down around 2 cents. I guess the traders are going to go and look and see when we get our export sales here this morning if we have any flashes after that to go and see if any other confirmation for these numbers. But like I said, we had some business that apparently got done, and we're still kind of in the dark to read and see what the actualities are for that transaction. So once again, the beans are around 2 cents lower. We get our weekly export sales coming out later this morning. We're still above pivotal price areas in our beans. The trade looks like they were buyers yesterday in the bean market with the open interest going on up. Ironically, we kind of stopped at the 200-day moving average for the beans, roughly at around 942 in the March, and backed off from it. The products, they're up around 50 cents in the meal, down around 15 cents in the oil, and there too we'll go and see what happens with our export sales. Corn market, really no fresh news in it. We'll see what our export sales are. There too, it's above pivotal price areas, just kind of holding its own. We did have an ethanol number that came on out. The ethanol number was down on the last USDA report, and the ethanol number this week was smaller than a week ago and down from a year ago. Once again, we're just going to go and see what happens with business going forward. The trade has been adding to net long positions on the Commitment of Traders report, so they have somewhat of a bullish bias at this point in time. And for the wheat, despite having the carryouts going up both in the U.S. and the world on the S&D reports, Egypt yesterday wound up buying non-U.S. wheat, buying Russia and Romania. The wheat market's up 5 cents, making new highs for the move. And the storyline there is that regardless of what's going on in the U.S., the marketplace as a whole likes where these businesses being done. The Egyptians buying Russian wheat roughly at around $242 a ton versus $237 prior. So the concept of world values of wheat prices on the rise kind of arbitrarily giving us a little bit of support in our markets, even though when we see our export sales later on this morning, we're still even running behind where the USDA is currently forecasting. So once again, a little bit of news on out, namely with the Chinese, but overall, we still have the backdrop of the USDA report as far as being non-bullish. We still have the South American situation being non-bullish as far as a crop going. And with the rallies, the world is still supplied with a lot of farmer beans to go and sell along with corn. So it makes one wonder how much of an advance we can get with that type of a backdrop. It's my opinions, not that of ADM or ADMIS. Thank you.